Yeah, I came from the mud, bro. I got this on my own, bro. Like, you know, it was, I came from nothing, bro. Like, bro.
How we doing, boys?
Hey, Mr. Anderson.
Daddy!
You guys want a ham and kale salad?
I'm okay. I'm so full from the Triscuits earlier.
Kale actually hurts my throat a little bit.
Todd, you been working on your swing?
Yes, of course, Mr. Anderson.
Good form.
Yeah.
Do you want to see my swing, Dad?
No, you're okay. You can sit.
Whoa! Target hit to the exact level as we talked about in yesterday's video. We found significant resistance right on this line for about 20 hours in 5 4-hour candles. When we broke that, straight up broke this middle heartline channel, straight up to the very tippy top. You can see that right here, found resistance, and now we're actually finding support right on this line, guys. Although I would not be surprised if we came back down to find some support here. Very interesting stuff. You can see here on this chart, we're actually getting pushed down as well. You know this chart very well. Came all the way up to that 73, and for the longest time, we were actually fighting right here, finding resistance right here, but we're getting pushed down currently. I would not be surprised as well, guys, if we came back down to this line, the very tippy top of our channel right here. That could be huge, finding support here around the 64 and then continuing upwards. So basically something like this, maybe going like this. But again, what are our levels to the upside to look at in terms of resistance, and what are our levels to the downside in terms of support? So much to take a look at. And as well, this ascending triangle. Everybody was giving me crap a week ago because I thought it was an ascending triangle. Everybody was calling it a bear flag. Now nobody's calling it a bear flag, and everyone's calling it an ascending triangle for pizza's sake. But guys, we're coming out. We actually broke out, but we're coming back, and we're trying to find support right at the top, okay? This is crucial. I wouldn't be surprised actually we came back down into this in the short term. And as well, we talked about 54 being support to the downside. What are the chances that that actually does continue there? What levels do we have to take a look at? Definitely got a lot to get into in this episode. Let's dive right in. Wow, what's going on, everyone? We have so much to talk about in this update. We tweeted out just about an hour or so ago as I'm recording this about this breaking out. Okay, will Bitcoin touch this sloping line today? And it did. It did, and for the longest time, it was actually finding support right there, and now we're getting pushed back down to the top of this channel. So we have to talk about this in the video. I think there's some very key levels that we want to look at here. And as well, guys, if you're interested in winning this bad boy, all you have to do is leave a comment below. Make sure to hit the dings, hit the likes, hit the subscribes, and let's do this. Wow, my juice levels are through the roof, guys. So let's take a first look at this chart. So this has been perfect. If you guys remember the episode last night, we talked about this, finding resistance here. We ended up finding resistance right on this line for about 20 hours, these 4-hour candles right here. And when we broke above it, we went straight up, straight through the middle line, okay, up to the very tippy top of this line, right around 73. And that's where we got rejected pretty hard. Currently, we're coming back to this line. Now, I think this will be pretty interesting. We found a lot of resistance here over the past few days. You can see that here. And we found support here for the first time on this line, again, last night, like we just mentioned. So this has been a pretty important area. This right now would be right around like the $6,800 level. So Bitcoin getting rejected off 7K, going back to 68, and then potentially continuing upward. To the downside, we have about the 64, guys. Remember, we talked about this other last level for this pattern to remain valid, like we had that pullback at the very beginning, okay? This red line is kind of like the last effort. If this gets broken, then the pattern's done, honestly. But as well, that 64 lines up perfectly. The 64 we have on here, right here on the upward sloping channel, lines up perfectly with the downward sloping on a bigger time frame. This is the 4-hour chart here. This is the daily. 64 would line up perfectly. Revisit this. And then if we're going to get a bounce, okay, if we're going to continue upwards, then this could be a great bounce area because we just broke out of this descending channel again after falling back into it. We broke out of it again. Now, again, this is pretty much guaranteed. When you break out of such a channel like this, you're going to come back to revisit it before continuing upwards. Same exact thing happened when we broke out of it back in January of 2020, okay? We can actually zoom in there. The same thing happened where we initially broke out of it pretty strongly. You see we had resistance on the first day. We broke out of it, got rejected, and even hovered on it for about a few days before continuing up. This actually formed like a pattern here and then broke up. So currently, if we take a look at what we're seeing now, makes a lot of sense that we did break up. A lot of momentum right there. I wouldn't be surprised if we came back down, tried to find some support there, and then continued this move. Or depending on how much momentum is really in this move, because we're so pushed down from this massive candle here, we're so pushed down over the past few weeks that it could actually just continue without having to form such a pattern there. But again, that $6,400 I think is a key level there. And on the mega downside, if we have to look on the mega downside, then I think what we have to take a look at is here. The 5400, okay, if we'd fall back into this ascending triangle, which we haven't just yet, as I'm recording this, if we fell back into it, there would have to be support at some very key levels here, here, here. If we break 54, again, guys, not even gonna really talk about that because that doesn't look like the direction we're being pushed right now, but just very important to keep an eye on there. And as well on the weekly, really nice bounce so far. This is kind of exactly what you would expect when you get such a huge pushback down. We talked about the monthly and getting a really nice reversal there. So let's actually switch to the monthly and I can kind of show you guys what I was talking about. So when we had this big hammer candle back here, this actually signaled the beginning of a massive run right here. Actually, sorry, this one right here back in August. So big hammer candles can definitely indicate reversals. So hammer candle here, continued uptrend, hammer candle here, uptrend. Currently, obviously, massive, huge, the biggest one on this chart, biggest hammer candle here. Now, is this going to continue upwards, guys? This is the monthly. Currently, we're sitting right on the 21-month moving average, this pink line here. So that's pretty important there. Currently, again, that's 78, guys. 78, we've been saying 8,078 for a long time, okay? 78 is just going to be incredibly hard to get above, in my opinion. So even if we do get a bounce here, we're going to come into a lot of resistance there. And so this is one of the reasons the breakout target of this is actually pretty high. I think it's like 9,000 US dollars, but I don't think we're going to actually get to that. If we get some confirmed support here after breaking out and then continuing, I don't think we're actually going to get to 9,000 just because I think there's way too much resistance at 78 to 8,000 for reasons we've been saying for a while. There's just too much that lines up there. If we switch to this chart, this is actually right here. Okay, on the daily, it's right where the 21 moving average is as well as the 50. They're kind of going to be squinched, crunched in between that area there. It's also where this really important line is, right around the 77, 78. Okay, and then at the very tippy top, this level here. So again, I think there's a lot in the way of getting to 9,000. I don't think we're gonna. I think if we get to 9,000, then it'll be incredibly easy to keep going up. But we have a lot of overhead resistance, I think. We mentioned before, like the 82, the 8,000, is so big, guys. You see that right here. Actually, the 78, the point of control is actually at the 78 right now. So what that means is that all of this volume culminated there. This is like the biggest area of resistance. As you can see here, we had a pretty massive down resistance or down volume area right here. That was huge, and that's basically where we got this bounce at 52. You can see even lower is where we got the mega bounce there. So again, very key level. But the 78, you can see just how massive it is. It takes up, out of all of this area, this is by far the most there. So again, this area is going to be very important. I think it's going to take a lot to get above that, which also pretty much lines up right here with this as well, right where the 50 moving average is. So guys, if we would see upside, I definitely think we're going to run into a lot of friction right about here. So for example, if you were trying to long the market or something, I would not expect this to be broken very easily. I think that would take a long time to get above. As well, switching to this chart, guys, I think this one's super key. We do seem to be coming down, trying to retest that. So I think that'll be interesting. If we can hold up here for, a few 4-hour candles, I think that would be perfect if we found support there. Okay, because again, we're getting pushed back down. We got to find support here if this wants to remain bullish. I just think that's so key for that level there. And as well, this could be a powerful move because this is about three and a half weeks in the making. The longer and the bigger the patterns are, the more powerful there will be as well. The more price action will come out of it. Let me actually turn my camera back on. I forgot to do that. So yeah, and we also have this coming down here, this sloping support and resistance line of this wedge that broke down, okay? Once it broke at that, it went absolutely crazy. I think this pattern, these levels are going to be still pretty strong there. And that lines up actually perfectly. If we came up today, that would be, yeah, right at the $7,800 level, guys. So $7,800, $8,000 is probably going to be so incredibly hard in the short term to get above. And currently we're actually at 68.70. So again, we are getting that pushback. So I could see that continuing, specifically if we're going to continue, because I'm sure you guys are going to be watching this. Price won't be, it might not be 7,000. If it isn't, watch for a big level of support right around the 63, 64, like worst case over the next 4-hour candles. But for right now, if we can hold 68, that's actually pretty good. So if we can hold the 68 sloping upwards, then I think that's the most important level. And as well, guys, if you want to check out these tips, definitely make sure to check out the description below. We have a discount code in there as well. And I have a few more videos that I have fully uploaded and everything. I just have to hit share, and they'll be available on this course as well. Okay, wow, and I did want to add this to the end of the video because price has moved substantially in the 30 minutes that I've been editing the video, and it is coming down to some of these targets. So you see right now really coming down to the very top of this. Remember, guys, 64, 65 is going to be key if we keep coming down here. You see us push down all of this Currently we're right here. So if we can get pushed down here, like we said in the video, and bounce up, that would be really good. We switched it here, guys. You see exactly what we said earlier. Oh no, I don't want to move that line. Exactly what we said during that video, which was filmed about an hour ago from when I'm finishing up editing the video. This area is providing support, so we want to see it hold there. That could be really strong. Again, we could come down and see a bounce here at 63, but again, that's ideally not what we'd want to do. It looks better here. This would be better here on this chart. It looks good, but 63 on this smaller chart. Again, we don't want to test this too much. We've already tested it twice in the last like 3 or 4 days. So if we would come down there, that would be not the best, but it would be strong. Okay, 63, it should be very strong. So it'll be interesting to see how that holds up there. So guys, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.